I remember people just being so irritated by his tooltips, but you could say one thing, which is that he wasn't selling your data, you know?
Huh? Kaboom.
Have you guys heard of the Clippy situation yet? No. A lot of you said no, okay. So the original video is from, is it Louis Rossman? If you guys hadn't noticed, there's a lot of people on like various sites, especially like YouTube, that have changed their profile picture to Clippy. Yeah, Clippy, like the old Windows assistant. Yeah, that Clippy. So, if you're wondering why that is, it's because of this video. It's called Change Your Profile Picture to Clippy, I'm Serious.
I was listening to the Facebook whistleblower hearings with Senator Josh Hawley a few months back. One of the elements that stuck out to me was when they were talking about how if an underage girl has deleted a selfie, Meta keeps track of this because they know that this person likely has low self-esteem at that moment.
Yeah, that's f***ed up. That is not okay. But I believe it. Advertising has no bounds. Like, capitalizing on people's misfortunes or insecurities is something all advertisers will do if they could get away with it.
That they deleted a picture of themselves, which means that they may be more apt to purchase something from an advertiser of a cosmetic product.
But basically what they are saying is that if a girl on social media deletes a profile picture, the reason most times or oftentimes is that she was upset or didn't like her appearance in the photo, right? Makes sense? And so because of that, ad companies track this. And when a young girl deletes a photo, it prompts them to buy a cosmetic product, realizing that they're in a vulnerable state of insecurity.
And I think about this within the...
Yeah, it's absolutely heinous and scummy. They should not get away with that, especially the fact that these girls are underage. It's gross.
Context of what companies used to get in trouble for and what they do, or more importantly, don't get in trouble for today. I grew up in the 90s, a time when Microsoft had hell and fury fall down upon them because they bundled a web browser with their operating system.
Really? I don't remember this one. I don't know when this was, but interesting. Okay.
Whether you think this is a good idea or not, I personally think that a web browser being installed in every single person's computer that's standards non-compliant, that is so bad that you can literally get a virus from visiting a website, has its problems. But when you look at what it is that companies got in trouble for in the 90s, it just doesn't hit the same when you look at what companies get away with now. I remember having a Dell Dimension 233 back in the day, and if you wanted to get the one that had slightly better graphics, they would give you a free installation of Microsoft Office. And with
Really? Really? For the price of free? That's crazy.
Microsoft Office back in the day, it came with Clippy. Whether or not you like Clippy and whether or not you liked Microsoft Office or having an operating system that had the browser built into it that could easily get you a virus when you visited other websites that were trying to invade your privacy, the one thing that you could say, unlike Facebook, who is trying to profit off of young girls that feel suicidal, Clippy simply wanted to help.
Very true. What's funny is I remember people being absolutely annoyed by Clippy. I remember people just being so irritated by his tooltips, but you could say one thing, which is that he wasn't selling your data, you know? He wasn't trying to sell you products. He was just giving you helpful tooltips.
He might have been annoying, but he just wanted to help. There were no ulterior motives. If you told Clippy that you were having a bad day, he wasn't going to use that information to try and figure out which advertiser to sell you to, nor was he trying to steal your personal data or get you to...
Yeah, very true. It wasn't like he was capitalizing off of, like, some issue that you had. He wasn't, like, storing your data.
Purchase other Microsoft products. He had no ulterior motives. He was simply there to help. Unlike many modern pieces of software, like what you get from Adobe or Intuit, where you can't buy QuickBooks anymore. You can't buy a video editor anymore. You have to pay a subscription fee for it. If I were to boot up that computer that has not been used for 28 years, and I wanted to start up Microsoft Word, I could do so without connecting to the internet. And Clippy would still be there, happy and as enthusiastic as ever, simply wanting to help.
I hadn't even thought about that, but yes, you could boot up something older and Clippy would still be there and still be able to, like, be used.
Adobe is another example of this. This is a company that tried to twist people's arms into having AI and machine learning stuff go through their personal data. Not public data, not the speeches that I give, not my website or my blog posts or my videos, but my private data, the stuff that I'm editing. And there were people that were not able to get into their account until they agreed to this new end user license agreement. When they are looking for access to your data, they're doing so because they want to train an AI on how to do what you do without paying you, without your consent. Clippy simply wanted to help.
I don't know if you guys caught that, okay? But like, Adobe is saying they want to have access now. They have a new TOS where they want to have access to even your private projects. And the rights that they have to your private projects means that they could use them to train their AI. And so, like, if you have graphic design projects that are really good that you haven't released, they could use that for free to train their AI and, like, basically take your job without you posting it publicly anywhere. Like, they are literally using, like, everything you do as a tool.
When Clippy would ask you if you wanted help with writing your letter, Clippy wouldn't even read the contents of your letter.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too, right? A lot of these other programs, like, read through everything, don't they? Like, they scan everything for data.
He just wanted to offer suggestions. Game of Thrones had, I'm not going to spoiler alert, there's this Sons of the Harpy in season 5. They were these people that wore masks and they pushed back against the new regime. And the purpose of the mask was to let the leaders know that when you see people with this mask, we are against you and your new regime, and we are going to push back against it as often as we can. And the war.
Who else? What's that other guy who wears a mask? Like V for Vendetta type of thing too, right?
With the Sons of the Harpy mask is
or
that
Anonymous.
It starts with one person putting the mask on. And then somebody else gains the balls to put the mask on. And then 20 or 40 or 100 of them put the mask on. And once 100 or 1,000 of them put the mask on, there's nothing that the leaders can do at that point. Enough people have put it on, and enough people have come together with solidarity. And they're going to do something about it. Now, granted, this may not be the best analogy, because it was spoiler alert, they were trying to bring back slavery, and they also were just bad people.
Yeah, true.
Back at that point, too. But besides, I think that Clippy is like a modern-day Sons of the Harpy mask. If you're tired of companies changing the terms of the sale after the sale and getting away with it, turn your profile photo to a Clippy. If you're tired of companies that have the ability to reach into your house and ransomware your products so that they stop working unless you pay them again, claiming that that's legal, but then when somebody tries to give you back access to what you bought and paid for, that's illegal, change your profile photo to a Clippy.
He is cooking. That is so true. All of the things he is talking about are real things that should not be allowed and are a huge overreach that they're just taking because there's not a system that, you know, stops them. Like, they don't have any boundary they have to adhere to.
If you're tired of sex bots invading the comment section on a regular basis, and their comments always posting with no problem, but your comments being censored even when you're not saying anything that bad, change your profile picture to a Clippy.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
If Google, being one of the premier data mining companies on Earth, not being able to tell that little fucking cat with 2 pillows next to it that they try to make look like an ass so that thirsty young men click it as they normalize sex trafficking on the platform that doesn't allow you to express an opinion bothers you, change your profile picture to a Clippy.
Is that a real thing? Oh my God. I have not heard of the pillow story in specifics. Holy.
And let them know that you're not happy. Clippy never tried to normalize sex trafficking. He just wanted to help. If you're tired of...
Very true. You know, Clippy might have been annoying, but he was not a bastard.
Companies saying out loud that the reason they want to keep you from fixing what you bought and paid for is that may take money away from them, change your profile photo to a Clippy. I never expected to win the legislative battle. It would be nice if I did, but it was never something that I set as I need to do this or I'm a failure. What I always hoped to do was win the cultural battle, where all of you understand what's going on and you decide that enough is enough. If I ever have a chance in my personal life to push back against this, I will. You're maybe not going to send that email that you're supposed to send to Interso to tell them, oh, by the way, make sure this chip doesn't end up on Mouser.com. Here's an NDA, blah, 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 supplier agreement. Maybe you just forget to send that email. When there's a new consumer rights law that the senator that you work for is on the fence about supporting, and there's a lobbyist that's going to be against it that wants to have dinner, whoops, maybe their invitation went to spam. I didn't see that. Sorry, boss. Maybe you quit before you create a fake paywall to test if your customers will pay again for what they already paid for. Or maybe when you send out that ransomware firmware update, you make it opt-in instead of opt-out. Whoopsie.
Yeah, that's a big one I don't like. Did you guys know, okay, this isn't nearly as problematic, okay, but like an example, right? There's a feature on Twitch that's called knocking, and you can knock on another stream while they're live to like get them to collab with you. And many of us don't like that feature and have voiced it, but every stream, we essentially, like, it's always auto-enabled by default, and there's a workaround where we have to, like, add people to frequent people we like to hang out with, and, like, we can't ever just say no. And if you turn it off, it auto-enables itself back on next stream. I love that feature. Okay, yeah, sure.
In some bizarro world, it is actually illegal to make a thermostat work again. And this bastard of a CEO decides to try and get the individual in trouble. 10 cases to prosecute. Only got time for 6. Maybe I just ignore this one. When a company...
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, he's got a good point, right? Like, the fact that they're already overreaching, like, they could continue to overreach in other sections. That would be even more problematic than they are now.
CEO logs into their Slack and sees 10,000 Clippies looking back at them. What I hope occurs is that they intuitively understand that they no longer live in a world where they can get away with fucking over the consumer. That their employees, their partners, are not going to be accomplices to this anymore. That they are alert and they are aware of what is going on, and they are going to politely but firmly push back against it. Every single one of those 10,000 people will be an obstacle to the anti-consumer practices and the anti-ownership practices, and it will no longer be another cog in the assembly line sending us all into a dystopia. There will be...
I do think it's a very good thought. I don't know if it would ever be enough to work or make an impact, but I do like the idea of it, right? I figure it can't hurt.
Be a moment where that one person who usually would not have a say in anything can be activated, and in that moment, keep the world from sliding further into a dystopia, or help push it forward in the opposite direction. But we all have to get together, and the first step is making it public that we know what's going on. That starts with a Clippy. On YouTube, if you're with me, I ask that you change your profile picture to a Clippy. At work, change your Slack profile picture to a Clippy. If you work at the White House, don't take down the United States flag, but somewhere on the grounds, put up a flag of a Clippy. Clippy's a symbol that what used to be considered one of the worst annoyances in our life would now not only be welcomed, but for all of his flaws, celebrated as an idol. Because for all of these things that occur right now where there is negative malice of intent, I want to take away what you own. I want to take this back. I want to get your data.
I agree with what he is saying, right? At least symbolism-wise, right? Like, back then, like, what Clippy was, people were annoyed by it, but it was never malicious. It was never trying to use you as a tool or facilitate a purchase through you, right? So what he is talking about is a real thing, and I do think that using Clippy as an example really helps understand the difference between, like, tech that was used for a similar purpose then and how the same type of tech is used to exploit you now. You know, I don't know if I could say that changing your profile picture to a Clippy would help or make a huge difference, right? But I do think that the conversation he's having and what he's talking about is important. And I think the analogy he's using is effective.
I want to sell you to an advertiser when I know that you're crying. Clippy just wanted to help. And if you were to turn him on today, unlike most cloud bullshit, he'd still work.
Very true. Like, all of this is very true.
Foundation is going to be announcing the winners to both the Future Home Bounty and the Echelon Bikes Bounty within the next month. Us offering 5,000 here, 20,000 there. It pushes the ball forward. But at the end of the day, that does nothing in contrast to organizing all of you. We're happy to get the ball rolling, but for us to truly win, we need to show that if you push us, Clippy clips back. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video.
I really liked that video. Whether you agree or disagree with him or think it's effective versus ineffective, it is a small thing to do, and he does make a really good point about technology in general, I think. I think the video was very good. And also, I just wanted to share it with you guys, you know, because I noticed that there was a bunch of profile pictures that were suddenly Clippy, and I was curious why. So, and at least from what I have heard, this guy lives by what he preaches. Like, he very much, like, his own picture is a Clippy. See? Like, apparently this guy, you know, it isn't doing this for like brownie points for like a particular person. Like, he lives by what he says, at least, right? I was using Clippy before it was cool. Dang, dual logs, that's crazy.